Today's story isn't about a genius or someone born with special gifts. It's about a very ordinary young man, once labeled as lazy and hopeless. But with a single small decision, with one new daily habit, he managed to change the entire course of his life. His journey didn't begin with something grand, but with a simple action, repeated with persistence, day after day. So what might happen if today you stopped waiting, stopped making excuses, and began to build your life with small stones of effort every single day? What could change if you believed that one small step now could open a much bigger path tomorrow? Let's listen to Kevin's story and find within it the inspiration and courage to start our own journey today. Kevin walked quietly through his village, unnoticed, misunderstood. To others, he was lazy, the boy who never tried, never changed. But inside, Kevin carried dreams he didn't dare speak aloud. He wanted more, to build, to grow, to become someone he could be proud of. Yet each day, when the moment to act arrived, he made the same silent promise: tomorrow. Not because he didn't care, but because fear held him back. Fear of failing, of not being enough. That one word, tomorrow, became his comfort and his curse. His books stayed closed, his room stayed messy, his goals stayed distant. Every delay added weight to his shoulders until he no longer saw a way forward. At night, beneath the stars, he whispered questions he didn't know how to answer. Why am I stuck? Why can't I move? But the silence offered nothing back. And in that stillness, Kevin began to believe the voices around him. That maybe he was just lazy, maybe change wasn't meant for him. Not realizing that the real battle wasn't with the world, it was with himself. One quiet evening, as the sky darkened and the lamps in the village flickered to life, Kevin sat alone, eyes dull, spirit dim. His mother joined him, her hands worn by work, her voice soft but steady. She had watched her son drift for too long, and that night she chose to speak from the heart. "Life doesn't wait, Kevin," she said gently. "Every day you waste is like adding a stone to your back. One by one, they'll pile up until you can't carry them anymore." Her words weren't angry, just true. They settled deep, like a weight on his chest. But Kevin only offered a faint smile, the kind you give when you want to believe, but don't. "What difference will one day make?" he asked, still caught in the lie of tomorrow. What he didn't realize was that one day, one decision can shift the course of an entire life. Sensing his son needed more than words, Kevin's father brought him to meet Master David, a quiet, respected man known throughout the village not for preaching but for changing lives. The elder didn't ask for excuses or explanations. He simply looked into Kevin's tired eyes, the kind of look that sees past masks and straight into the soul, and said, "So you're the boy who waits for tomorrow?" In that moment, Kevin felt exposed and oddly understood. He didn't try to defend himself. He couldn't. Instead, he stood quietly as the old man handed him two simple things: a clay pot and a basket of stones. "Each day, finish your most important task, then drop a stone in this pot," Master David instructed. "Come back in 30 days. No lectures, no promises, just a challenge, one that didn't require greatness, only consistency." Day one arrived without ceremony. No music, no lightning bolt of motivation, just Kevin sitting alone with a decision. The weight of his old habits clung tightly, the urge to put it off, to tell himself, "Not today." But something was different now. He remembered his mother's voice, Master David's eyes, and the clay pot waiting silently in the corner. So he opened a book. He read, not for hours, not perfectly, just 1 hour of undistracted effort. It felt small, but when he dropped that first stone into the pot, clink. A soft sound, barely louder than a whisper, yet it echoed through his heart like a drumbeat of change. That sound didn't just mark the task completed, it marked the beginning of something new. It was the sound of someone taking responsibility for their life. The days that followed were not easy. Some mornings, Kevin stared at the pot and felt like quitting. Old voices would creep in. "One day off won't matter. You'll never keep this up." but he had tasted a quiet kind of pride. And he wasn't ready to let it go. Some days he succeeded, some days he failed, but he always came back. Slowly, something shifted. His mind became clearer. Studying wasn't a chore, it became his anchor. He found peace in small routines, a clean desk, an early morning, a quiet reflection before the day began. With each stone, he wasn't just filling a pot, he was laying the foundation of a new identity. Each one whispered, "You showed up, you didn't quit. You're becoming who you were meant to be." What once felt like punishment now felt like purpose. And without realizing it, Kevin was building a mountain, one small, silent victory at a time. 30 days passed. Not quickly, not effortlessly, but with quiet determination, one day at a time. And now Kevin stood once again before Master David, the clay pot cradled carefully in his hands. It wasn't full. Only 20 stones rested inside, unevenly scattered like moments of triumph and struggle. His head hung low, heavy with doubt. "I didn't fill it," he said, his voice almost a whisper. "I failed." But Master David didn't frown. He didn't scold. He simply looked at the pot, then at Kevin, and smiled. Not out of politeness, but pride. "Before this," he said gently, "you had zero. Zero stones, zero habits, zero belief. Now you have 20. That isn't failure. That's a beginning." Kevin looked down again, but this time he saw something different. Each stone carried a story, a choice made, a resistance overcome, a battle won. These weren't just pebbles in a jar, they were evidence of progress, of effort, of becoming. He remembered the sound of each drop, the struggle behind them, the strength it took not to give up. And in that moment, something inside him shifted. The labels others gave him, lazy, wasted potential, lost cause, fell away. They had never been true. He wasn't lazy, he just hadn't known how to begin. Now he did. And even though the pot wasn't full, he was. From that day forward, Kevin was no longer the boy who waited for tomorrow. He rose with the sun, greeting each morning as a new beginning. His days started with purpose. A quiet moment of reflection, a tidy desk, a promise to show up for himself. Studying became a ritual, not just a task, and slowly his mind grew sharper and more confident. He learned to listen to silence, to understand himself in ways he never had before. Over time, these small habits rewrote his destiny. Within a year, Kevin launched a small online business from his own village. Something he once thought impossible. The very people who once whispered that he was lazy now admired his honesty, his consistency, and his relentless effort. He had transformed not by chance, but by choice, by showing up day after day. He hadn't just changed his life, he had claimed it, built it stone by stone, habit by habit. But this story is not just about Kevin. It's a story about all of us. We all have moments where we put off our dreams, believing that tomorrow will somehow be easier. We soothe ourselves with the idea that change needs the perfect moment, the right inspiration, or some distant opportunity. But the truth is, tomorrow is only a comfortable lie that keeps us from living today. Real change doesn't wait for permission or perfect timing. It begins the instant you decide to act. And just like Kevin, it starts with one simple step, one small stone, laid down in faith. What will your first stone be?